Imagine this moment. It is just you and a small box sitting on your desk. You reach out and press the power button on your brand new M5 Mac Mini. You wait for the noise. You wait for the whir of a fan or the hum of a hard drive, but there is nothing. It turns on in absolute silence. The screen lights up, and before you even see the familiar desktop wallpaper, you have already made a decision deep down in your gut. You are asking yourself one terrified question. Did I just make the right choice, or did I just waste my hard-earned money? This is the fear every one of us feels when we buy new technology. We wonder if the hype is real, or if we just fell for good marketing. But this video is not about charts. It is not about benchmarks or dry specifications that you will forget in 10 minutes. This video is about what this tiny silver box actually changes in your real life. We're going to talk about how it feels to use it, how it respects your time, and why it might be the machine that finally destroys your excuses. Picture yourself at your desk right now. Maybe it is late at night, or maybe it is early in the morning. You have work to do. You have big ideas you want to execute. You have a project that could change your career, or a video that could launch your channel. But you are tired. You are not just tired from lack of sleep. You are tired of your computer being the problem instead of the solution. We have all been there. You click on an application and you wait. You try to edit a video, and the timeline freezes just when you were getting into a rhythm. You open a dozen Chrome tabs to do research, and suddenly your fan sounds like a jet engine preparing for takeoff. You know this feeling. It is the feeling of fighting against your tools. It is the feeling of technology getting in your way. You already know what technology shouldn't feel like. It shouldn't feel like a struggle. The real question we need to answer today is simple. Can a small silver box with an M5 chip actually change that reality? Can it change how you feel about your work? Let's look at the creators first. If you're trying to start or grow a YouTube channel, you know the pain of an old machine. You're trying to edit 4K footage. You want to add beautiful B-roll, color grading, sound effects, and motion graphics. On an older computer, this is where the suffering begins. You drag a clip onto the timeline and you wait for it to load. You hit play to preview your edit and it drops frames, skipping and stuttering. You cannot see your own work. You start thinking that maybe you are not good enough. You start thinking maybe you should just film in lower quality, or maybe this whole YouTube dream is too much effort. The friction kills your motivation. Now, imagine doing that same work on an M5 Mac Mini. You drop those heavy 4K clips on a timeline, and they land instantly. You scrub through the footage, moving the cursor back and forth, and it is buttery smooth. There is no stutter. There is no lag. You stack effects on top of each other. You add transitions and color grades, and the computer still responds instantly. You hit export on a 10-minute 4K video, and you stand up to go get coffee. But before your coffee even cools down, the video is done. There are no screaming fans. There is no burning hot laptop chassis. There is just silent power sitting on your desk. That is the real difference. It is not just about speed. It is about flow. When your tools get out of the way, your creativity finally has room to show up. You stop thinking about the computer, and you start thinking about the story you want to tell. But maybe you're not a YouTuber. Maybe you are a developer. You live in code. You have Xcode open, Visual Studio Code running, Docker containers spinning in the background, local servers, and databases all running at once. On a weaker machine, hitting the build button is a painful experience. It means waiting. It means losing your focus. You pick up your phone because you are bored waiting for the computer, and suddenly you have lost your momentum. On an M5 Mac Mini, the experience is completely different. You run tests, you build apps, and you spin up services, and the system stays responsive. You are not waiting on your machine. You are iterating. You are experimenting. You are shipping code. The fastest computer isn't just the one that loads things quickly in a benchmark test. The fastest computer is the one that gives your ideas less TI. Me to die. It keeps you in the zone. And what if you're just a normal user? You're not editing movies or building apps. You browse emails, you do some light photo editing, you watch Netflix, and you listen to music. You might think you don't need this power, but that is where the Mac Mini becomes a quiet investment in your sanity. It is an investment in not being annoyed every single day. Think about your morning routine. You wake up, grab your coffee, and sit down. You move your mouse, and the wake up is instant. You open your browser and load dozens of tabs, your email, and your messages, and it doesn't hesitate. You jump on a Zoom call or a Teams meeting. Your audio is clear. Your camera doesn't lag. You share your screen with multiple apps open, and everything just works. There is no spinning beach ball of death. There is no need to apologize to your colleagues saying, "Sorry, my computer is being slow today." That small detail changes how professional you look. It changes how confident you feel. It changes how in control your day seems. So, why choose a Mac Mini and not a laptop? This is a common question. If you're always mobile, if you need to work from a park or an airplane, then sure, a laptop makes sense. But be honest with yourself. Where does your most serious work happen? If it happens at a desk, the Mac Mini has a very specific advantage. You're not paying for a screen you might not like. You're not paying for a keyboard that feels shallow or a trackpad that is too small. You're not paying for a battery that will eventually degrade. With the Mac Mini, you build the environment. You choose your monitor. You pick your favorite mechanical keyboard. You choose a mouse that fits your hand perfectly. You set up your audio exactly how you want it. You build your desk like a cockpit designed for you. And at the heart of it is the M5 Mac Mini. It is small, quiet, and powerful. It is replaceable without throwing away everything else on your desk. Over time, that freedom matters. There is also the battle between distraction and focus. Think about a big, loud PC tower. It has flashing lights, spinning fans, and it takes up huge amounts of space. Think about a hot laptop that constantly reminds you it is working hard with fan noise and heat. These things break your focus. They remind you that you're using a computer. The M5 Mac Mini does something magical. It disappears. There is no RGB light show. There are no roaring fans. When you open a few heavy apps, there's no drama. It just does its job and lets you be the interesting one in the room. You're not paying just for metal and silicon. You're paying to make technology invisible so that you can be visible. Let's talk about money and time, because this is where the value proposition really clicks. You could build a PC. You could buy a cheaper Windows laptop. You could buy something used. All of that is true. But ask yourself this. How many hours per week do you use your main computer? Is it 20 hours? 40? 60? Now multiply that by 52 weeks in a year. Multiply that by 3 or 4 years. We are talking about thousands of hours of your life. If a machine like the M5 Mac Mini saves you just 15 minutes a day because it is faster, smoother, and more stable, that adds up. Over a few years, that adds up to days of your life. These are days where you felt less frustrated. Days where you felt less stuck. Days where you were not held back by a spinning cursor or a crashing application. That is not just spec talk. That is quality of life. With Apple controlling the chip, the operating system, and the hardware, you get a level of optimization that is hard to find elsewhere. You get apps that are optimized for the silicon. You get cooler, quieter, more efficient performance. You have fewer driver headaches. You have fewer update disasters where your computer suddenly stops working. You just get a setup that works day after day. It is reliable. It is consistent. However, we have to be honest. The M5 Mac Mini is not for everyone. This video is not about selling you something you don't need. If you're a hardcore Windows-only gamer chasing the latest AAA titles, this shouldn't be your only machine. It simply isn't built for that. If you depend on specific Windows-only software that is very niche and doesn't play nice with virtual machines, it might not fit your workflow. If you need to be portable all the time, a MacBook is obviously a better choice. The M5 Mac Mini is perfect for a specific kind of person. It is for the person who wants a stable, powerful, quiet desk machine more than they want a flashy portable one. It is for people who care more about getting things done than flexing a laptop in a coffee shop. Imagine your current desk right now. Maybe it is cluttered. Maybe it is simple. Maybe you have a tired, old laptop jammed between books and cables. Now, picture a clean setup. Imagine 1 or 2 good monitors. Imagine your favorite keyboard and a mouse that feels great. Imagine decent speakers. And next to your monitor, there's just a tiny, silent box, the M5 Mac Mini. The moment you sit down at that desk, that setup sends a message to your brain. It says, this is where work happens. This is where content is created. This is where ideas turn into something real. When you remove the friction from technology, what is left facing you is the blank page. It is the empty timeline. It is the open code editor. It is the research tab. It is the opportunity. You are not watching this video or reading this description because you just like tech news. You are watching because something in your life feels ready for an upgrade. Maybe it is your YouTube channel. Maybe it is your freelance work. Maybe it is your studies or your remote job. Or maybe it is just how your day feels when you sit down to work. The M5 Mac Mini alone won't change your life. It is just a tool. But what you do with a fast, stable, reliable machine absolutely can change your life. Ask yourself this. If your computer stopped being the bottleneck, what would you do? If it became quiet, fast, and invisible, what would you finally give yourself permission to do? Would you finally start that channel you've been talking about for years? Would you launch that side hustle? Would you take on more clients because you know you can handle the workflow? Would you learn a code? Would you build that app idea that has been sitting in your Notes app for years? Would you actually enjoy the process of editing instead of dreading it? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, then the M5 Mac Mini is more than just another Mac. It is a line in the sand. On one side of that line, you have lag. You have freezes. You have excuses. You have the mindset of, I'll do it later, and my computer can't handle it. On the other side of that line, you have no more excuses. The barrier is gone. The only thing left is to make something. The only question is whether your main computer will be something you have to work around, constantly fighting its limitations, or something you work through without even noticing it is there. The M5 Mac Mini is that second kind of machine. It is quiet. It is focused. It is brutally efficient. It is forgettable in the best possible way. Because if you build, create, edit, design, code, study, or just live most of your day in front of a screen, forgettable technology is exactly what gives you the chance to become unforgettable. When you finish reading this and you go back to your current computer, pay attention to it. Listen to it. Feel how it responds. Is it slowing you down? Is it distracting you? Is it giving you reasons to say not today to the things that matter? If it is, maybe it is time you gave your ideas the machine they deserve. And for a lot of people sitting at a desk, that machine is the M5 Mac Mini. Not because it is perfect and not because it is trendy, but because it quietly removes your excuses. And sometimes, removing the excuses is all you really need to succeed. The M5 Mac Mini is a compact engine designed to get out of your way. It allows you to finally do the work, create the content, and build the projects you keep postponing. It won't magically change your life on its own, but it will remove the lag, the noise, the freezes, and the constant friction that slowly kills your motivation. If you spend most of your serious time at a desk and you're ready to trade excuses for execution, then this little box is one of the smartest, most focused upgrades you can make. The real question isn't, is the M5 Mac Mini powerful enough? The real question is, once your computer stops holding you back, what is your excuse going to be? If you liked this deep dive into the M5 Mac Mini, please subscribe to the channel for more content that respects your time and your intelligence. Share this video with a friend who is still struggling with a slow computer, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Let me know in the comments, what is the one project you would start if you had a computer that never slowed you down? Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.